The environmental concerns are really, really serious and something that worries me enormously. We know that about 30% of the Earth's land surface is now given over to livestock production, with areas of rainforest, which are those areas of maximal biodiversity, being even more seriously affected. So the Amazon jungle, for example, more than 70% of the previously forested Amazon jungle is now taken up by pastures, essentially to grow beef cattle, to produce hamburgers for export to countries like the US. A large part of the remaining rainforest is also being given over to feed crops, which are then fed to the cattle. So because of the inefficiencies involved when you convert plant protein into meat protein, you may lose up to 90% during the conversion process. We require vast amounts of land to grow all of the feed crops, which need to then be fed to the livestock. So all of Europe, for example, is quite capable of producing enough vegetable protein to feed all of the people in Europe, but not all of the livestock in Europe. So grain has to be sourced from developing countries, where it becomes unavailable to local people who are often suffering severely from malnutrition or even starvation, and can't afford to pay the same prices that European countries can. So that's a really serious food justice issue. And on top of all of that, the livestock sector is one of the biggest contributors to climate change, producing about 14.5% of all greenhouse gas emissions. And climate change is one of the biggest contributors to biodiversity loss on a planetary-wide basis. So we are now starting to live through what is the sixth mass extinction event since fossil records began some 540 million years ago. And these are events where more than 50% of all animal species die, and we know this from the fossil record. There have been 5 of these up until now. Now, our rates of extinction presently vary between 10 to more than 100 times the natural background rate of extinction, depending upon the vertebrate group that we're looking at. So we are actually starting to live through the 6th mass extinction event. The United Nations has estimated that about a third of all animal species are likely to die during the initial period of that. What we are doing is the direct cause of that. The primary causes would be habitat destruction. One of the biggest causes of that is to grow feed crops to feed to livestock. A major additional cause is greenhouse gas emissions, and climate change and livestock are one of the biggest causes of that. So it's a disaster for the planet to be growing livestock animals on such a very large scale.